Hey everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I am doing fabulous. I wanted to come on and talk about something I find super important both for voice lessons and for singing, but also just for life. And I've been finding more and more so many principles that help with good singing, help with good life, okay? So this is going to be about setting intentions. So what are intentions? How do we set them? And what are the similarities and differences between intentions and goals? So as of late, I've been implementing in my studio that every student at the beginning of every lesson must tell me their intention for that lesson. Now, this doesn't have to be something grand or technical. It can be as simple or as complex as you might want it to be, depending on your vibe for that day. You could have an intention all planned out from the week prior, and then the day of, you're like, whew, today was rough. I just want to get through the day and have this lesson help me do that. Valid. Another person might be like, I have an audition coming up and I really want it to go well, and I want to know my cut so well that I could do the audition in my sleep and it would be great. Okay, valid. All of these different things are valid intentions to set for your lessons, but you can also set intentions for your day, and I'll get into that later, but it has completely done a 180 for my mental health and just for my need to plan. I have such severe need and want, and all you planner girlies and type A friends, I know you know what I mean. I was addicted to my planner. I'm going way off here. I used to be addicted to my planner. My therapist actually gave me a homework assignment to not write in my planner for a whole week, and I nearly had a panic attack. Ooh, that was tough. But now I have a better relationship with my planner. But anyway, we won't get into that right now. But for all of the people out there like me that love planning and to be in control of what goes on, this is a great way to do that in such a pleasant way. And I'll get into why in a little bit. So, what are intentions? And let's also talk about goals, because they can be similar or the same, and they can be completely different things. So, an intention can be as small as find little ways to smile at every moment you can. That can be your intention for the day. Now, while you're doing that, you could have several goals that you're doing. Maybe you want to finish a paper, or you want to learn this song. But your intention is that no matter what happens, I'm going to find ways to smile through it. This is just an example. I'll think of another example soon, but let's ride with this example. So what might happen? I may wake up in the morning and I say, oh yeah, remember my intention to smile? And then I smile when I wake up, no matter how I'm feeling. But that's my intention for the day. So I smile when I wake up. Then maybe I take a nice long look at myself in the mirror that morning, and instead of just glazing by like I normally would, I give myself a smile because that was my intention for the day. Maybe while I'm walking around outside, instead of being my normal New York self and not make eye contact with anybody because danger, danger, maybe I give my neighbor a smile. I give my puppy a smile. I do all of the things to make myself smile. Maybe because my intention is to smile, I make sure I do something fun that day, because sometimes we forget about fun. So maybe I'm like, oh, well, that book I read, I've been really liking. So since my intention today is to smile, I'm going to read that book with some of my free time, or I'm going to have a meal that really makes me happy, or I'm going to call my friend today because she makes me smile. So you're accomplishing all sorts of different goals through the lens of your intention to smile. So if I put this in a singing example in a lesson, I had a student whose intention it was to add sounds to their toolbox. This is a more technical intention. We didn't have a song in mind. We didn't have anything in mind, really, except that was the intention. So now I'm thinking, okay, how do you feel about lip trills? She's like, Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. So we worked together in a conversation to figure out why lip trills weren't working for her consistently and how to get it there. By the end of that little session, we had lip trills. So now, lip trills goes in her little box of sounds she can make. Then we wanted to work on how can we get the mix more accessible to you, your mix accessible to you. This is another sound we can use. So we decided to sing some Carrie Underwood, and we based our whole warm-up around all sorts of different sounds, around mixing, around lip trills, etc., etc. So now we had an entire structure for our warm-up. We picked a song out, and we were able to constantly check in and say, okay, are we still doing the intention? Are we getting bogged down in some or other part of your technique, like breathing, that is important but was not part of your intention? Are we getting bogged down in other things? And when do we need to reel it back in and say, okay, let's get back to the toolbox? So these are great ways to streamline your success. But it's also a great way to really honor yourself, because another goal that another student had, another intention, was to have fun. They got some kind of bad news that day, and they were like, you know what? I had a plan for all the stuff I wanted to do, but I kind of just want to have fun. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we put away whatever we were working on. I said, what's your favorite song to sing? And it's blanking me what song we ended up doing. But I was like, cool, okay, let's do that then. And then our warm-ups were a little bit sillier. We spent a little more time talking, having a conversation, because that's what we needed to do to stay with the intention of having fun. I was like, I'll throw some jokes in here and there. I was trying to be funny. I'm not that funny, but I was trying to be funny all through that lesson to make sure that laughing was happening constantly, because the intention was to have fun. And that's a super valid intention, because I could go on forever about how fun helps us be so much more productive and useful humans, but also just fun is so fulfilling and we need it. So the whole lesson, warm-up, song, every activity, every interaction was all based in the question, am I following the intention of having fun? So you can do this in every lesson you have. Sometimes it may be easier than others. Maybe you have an audition coming up, you know exactly what you want to work on. But on the days, especially on the days where you're like, I have a lesson scheduled, I love singing lessons, so it's not that I don't want to have a lesson, but I just don't know what I want to do. I don't have a plan. This could really help streamline your plan. So your next question, and I say go from big to small with this, is exactly what I was saying. Do you have an audition coming up, a performance, something you're actively working towards, or a larger goal that you know you've set? You can always fall back on those things if the other more specific internal intentions are not coming clear to you. You can always go with, I need to learn this song for an audition. I always said I wanted to expand my range, so let's do that, those sorts of things. But if you're feeling like you want to go deeper than that or get more into the nitty-gritty of your own emotions, you can go into what do I need right now? How do I feel right now? What would make me feel accomplished? So that could be, I feel like I'm failing at everything today. So I really want to work on a concept that I know I kind of know already. I know it's not the most maybe helpful for my growth, but in this moment, I just need validation. So maybe you're a riffer. So maybe we spend the whole lesson riffing, even though we all know you don't need help with it. Okay, it's a great intention. Maybe you say, okay, I'm feeling really, really motivated. I want to learn something new. Maybe you don't know how to riff at all, and you say, I want to learn a new concept today that I haven't touched before. Let's riff. And now I can say, okay, I know your voice a little bit. I know the artists you like. What can we work on that has that riff in it? I actually did have a student that was their intention recently. And we didn't even have to go in and pull out a song out of their book. We simply went on TikTok. I am not kidding. We went on TikTok and found some riffing challenges, and we did that riff that's like, whatever, the ego riff. And we literally did that for the whole lesson. All of our warm-ups were based in agility. And then we broke down step by step the ego riff. And the intentions were met, and the person left feeling like they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. And this is so helpful because so many times I've experienced this as a student, but also as a teacher. I see it so often. Before I had this implemented in my studio, I would say, "What do you want to do today?" And people would be like, "I don't know." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And especially students that I've only worked with like 1 or 2 times. Like, sure, I know your voice to an extent, but I don't know what you know. So if you say, "Oh, I don't know what I want to work on," and I don't know what rep you know, we could do warm-ups for the full hour, but it's kind of boring for the both of us. And I don't know what songs you know, and it's not always fun to just plunk out notes and have me sing a line and then you sing a line. We can do that sometimes, but it's not the best option always. So having an intention just streamlines this. So the difference between someone saying, "Oh, I don't know what I want to do," and saying, "I want to have fun today," can completely change the course of what happens. So your intention does not have to be a technical one, but it's just so important to have one. And now I want to talk a little bit about how this translates to one's life. I mentioned it a little bit before about the example of like smiling all the time or being kind to yourself. So like today I set my intention that I was going to lead with kindness, but especially to myself because I am always very hard on myself. But I was just going to lead with kindness at all costs. So whenever I could, I tried to implement that. I was giving people more grace, giving people the benefit of the doubt, being kind to myself about what I was eating or how I was feeling and meeting myself where I was at. And I just had such a pleasant day, one, because the planner in me was like, "Ooh, I accomplished my task of being kind to myself. Yay, check off the to-do list." But also, I got to be kind to myself for a day that I normally may not have been. So it's just so amazing to set these intentions. You wouldn't believe how streamlined everything in your life and everything in your studies and everything that you sing can be when you do that. So now last thing is, well, what's the difference between a goal and an intention? So I think all goals can be intentions. So if you have a goal to expand your range, you could come in and say, "I want to expand my range. That's my intention for the lesson." Cool. Your goal could be that you want to audition for a show. Your intention could be that you want to work on your audition. But not all intentions are goals. Your intention can help you get to a goal, but having fun doesn't have to be necessarily a goal, but just like the intention for which all other actions happen through. I hope that makes sense. Of course, you could have a goal like I want to find joy in my life in more ways than one all the time. That could be a great goal for you. But an intention is a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more action oriented. So the goal is like the overarching idea, the thing that you stick on the fridge and you say, "This is what I'm going to do." But your intention is, okay, well, how am I going to do that? And then you do little things over and over that align with your goal, with your intention. And then you meet said goal and intention because you were able to put action to it. I feel like I'm starting to ramble, but I hope that makes sense. So in general, I really, really, really recommend setting intentions for lessons, coachings, anything like that, but also like outside of your musical life, setting intentions. It doesn't always have to be a self-love intention either. You could have an intention to go for more walks or move your body more. And then you find little ways to do that. So maybe a goal could be like, I want to run a marathon, but you like never got up off the couch before. So your intention could be like, I want to move my body more. So maybe you choose to take the stairs instead of the elevator one time. You see the opportunity to align with your intention. So I say, implement it in your life. Trust me, it works, and it's life-changing once you do it. And then take this into your musical life. It'll streamline your success, but also keep you accountable and happy with your progress. Because you can take the pressure off that these intentions don't have to be technical. They can be whatever you need them to be that day. It could be have fun, get through it, have validation, ask questions, be curious, learn something new. But it can also be expand my range, access my mixed voice regularly, add sounds to my toolbox, sing in multiple genres. These can all be intentions and goals that you set. So I hope that helped, and really consider doing this in your life, and please let me know how it goes. And I would really appreciate if you are liking this podcast to give it some love on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and save it, give it a like, give it a good rating, leave me a comment, react with it, and also share it on the socials or with people that you know that would appreciate this content. Especially if there's something specific that speaks to a person you know, go ahead and send it to them. Share the love because I love you. All right, friends. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.